Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Kaiser Gaming, and welcome back to Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. It feels like it's been forever since I featured AoE2 DE on the channel, especially just sitting back and casting some games, casting one of my own games. In fact, I had somebody ask me the other day, Kaiser, are you still playing AoE2? Well, let me tell you, I've been playing Age of Empires 2 for 20 years now, so I am not going anywhere where AoE2 is concerned. And in fact, just recently I played a really fun match, a challenging match, that challenged those parts of the game where I tend to be weaker. So I had an absolute blast with this, and I thought it'd be a lot of fun to bring it to you guys. So buckle in, this is going to be a really fun match. We are battling it out on Oasis. Yours truly, the Iron Kaiser in the red, playing as the Persians. And I am up against Red Scorpio in the blue to the south, playing as the Poles. We are on Oasis, and I'll talk about the Civ matchup in a second, but we're on Oasis right here, and I gotta be honest, when I first loaded in, I knew it wasn't Arabia, but I actually had forgotten what match it was on. I was clicking the button to check, okay, what map am I on again? And Oasis, you have got, look at the boar. Look at how far away these boar are from the town center. That is really going to throw my opening moves for a little bit of a loop. Obviously, I've got my 6 on sheep, and I'm going to get 4 on wood. Very typical. You see I have a slight Vil lead right now. That's not because I'm playing any better than Scorpio. That is just because the Persians have that faster working town center. And the Persians are a really fun civilization to play. They've got a great stable. Obviously, they've been updated with some really cool features. They've got the Savar, which is a replacement for the Paladin, so extremely strong knights. You have, with Commandoran, the archers that don't cost any gold, as long as you pick up that technology, right? But you have a really cool stable, you have camel options, and I am certainly looking at camels when I'm up against the Poles. The Poles, of course, an incredibly strong cavalry civilization here in the blue, as we see Scorpio also bringing in his first war around the same time. I wonder if he picked up Loom. He did not pick up Loom, so, good on him. I went ahead and grabbed Loom just because I was a little bit worried about it. But, he's got some weaker Vils, but those Vils were able to get the job done without needing Loom. And he's also luring in Ibex, really cool. I noticed that my Ibex are near the bushes, the forage bushes. So, as we're going to see in a little bit, I'm not going to worry about luring. I'm just going to go ahead and take advantage of that mill nearby and get the deer that way. But with the Poles, I'm a little worried about them, of course. They've got the Folwark, which is their replacement for the mill. It means that your farms built around those mills are way more effective. So you have an extremely strong food economy as the Poles. You also have great, cheap cavalry. Probably, man-to-man, not the strongest cavalry in the game, but they are extremely cost-effective. And then you have that replacement for the Hussar, the winged Hussar that the Poles have, which make, again, just extremely strong, trash cavalry options. Really good civilization. I sort of feel, and I recognize, even as we are... even in these early stages, I mean, I've been playing the game for a little while. I know about the Poles. And I know that as the Persians, camels are probably going to be my best friend here, right? I've got a good stable, full blacksmith text there. I have heavy camel. And knowing that the Polish player is going to want to go cavalry is a move that makes sense. So I definitely have camels in the back of my mind. And right now, I'm just building out my economy. I know that this game is going to maybe not necessarily go long, but I am not looking to end this in the feudal age, right? I'm wanting to get a strong economy and then see if I can mass up some powerful units behind that. So I am going to maybe speed up the clock a little bit here. And we see some early action as, unfortunately, I take some damage. I just happened to move my scout up near those villas, so he took a bunch of damage, and he will go down. woe is me. I did not realize these sheep on Oasis. So Oasis has additional sheep that you can find across the wings of the map. And I had no idea about those. So that's me also throwing away some resources that maybe I otherwise would have been able to take advantage of. But good mental note for the next time I play Oasis. Take advantage of those sheep. I have 4 vills out here, and I do eventually, you're going to see, in fact, I think it'll be any minute now, I'm going to move them off of the berries and get them onto the deer. I wish I had done that faster. I think speed is important. There's a world in which Red Scorpio decides to attack with, you know, some kind of scout rush. And in fact, let me see, does he know about... Okay, he doesn't know about the walls. So yeah, that would make sense. And I don't want my vills out here getting caught out by, you know, fully upgraded scouts getting 3 or 4 vill kills. That would be devastating. So I think time is of the essence to try to get these guys. What I really should have done is moved them faster. Get them out onto the Ibex. And there we go. We're in the feudal age. Now, we were up to the feudal age slower than Red Scorpio, but on the flip side, I do have more vills. And maybe that is the Persian TC bonus kicking in, because we have about the same idle TC time, and even as I say that, I'm now crossing over to a little bit more idle TC time than him. I did get housed for a little bit there. I was hoping to fast castle, but I sort of misplay it. I don't really have enough food on the field. You know, I get housed. So I just decide, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw down some necessary buildings, and I'll use my market to try to buy my way up and figure it out that way. If we take a look at Scorpio, look at, he's got 13 farms to my 9. So he's just in a much better food economic situation. And if he hits the castle edge before I do, that'll be why. He put more guys on food. What I find even now is that I'm constantly underestimating how much food, or how many farms I need to quickly go up to the next age. It is maybe, I won't say that there's no such thing as too many farms. There certainly is. But I find that I err on the side of too few farms than too many. Alright, there's this scout right here, who did not take a single point of damage from my own scout. I think that was a mistake. If I was going to lose my scout, yeah, I was using him for intel. Yeah, look at these guys. Free sheep going to the enemy. Not a good opening situation. So I'm up to the castle age, and I am up faster than him. That would be thanks to the market. Right? I think Red Scorpio had the better food eco, but I've got a lot of guys on gold, so it sort of works out. Here we go. Now, this is going to be a fun little back and forth. I think it's kind of maybe a little bit silly of him to try to force that engagement. He keeps coming back, hoping that I'm maybe not paying attention. He can get a kill there. But no, I have my eyes on that. And meanwhile, while all that's going on, and this scout will die. Boom. Alright, I've got a second stable up. And we have camels and knights on the way. And honestly, maybe I should have just moved faster. Here we go. They're on their way now. There's another scout coming over as I'm building a town center. He does get 1 vill, but he loses a scout in exchange. Alright, so my opponent throwing down his second town center. Walling up effectively. Maybe if I swung around and hit these palisade walls, I could have broken through. But honestly, I kind of doubt it. I think he was fast enough that no matter what I do, he shores this up. And he sees, predictably, you know, if you're the Persians, you have a really strong stable. So he sees. He's gonna... He knows I'm going camels. I'm going knights. He gets out a monk, which I think is an amazing choice to just force me off the walls. I cannot apply pressure without risking losing expensive units for no good reason. I'm not breaking through there. Not right now. Not yet. And meanwhile, you know, I've got this town center. Town center number 2. Right beside some gold, right beside some stone. I really like my map here. I've got good gold piles. This is a well-defended area. And I also think I maybe got a little lucky in that my secondary or tertiary gold is still decently close to my base. I mean, his gold, he's got 3 there. I have, you know, 1, 2, and 3. So that's my 4th. His 4th is all the way out here. So I feel like maybe, I think my spot maybe looks a little bit better as far as that's concerned. Got a monastery coming up. I recognize in this match in particular that the game could go long. And I see the need for relics. I feel like they're a very useful option here. I mean, obviously, it's good to have relics in any game, but I think there are some matchups and some strategies where relics may not prove very important. I go ahead and delete my spear there because I have a scout in the area. And if I could get the scout to get that monk in time, I get a free kill. And I didn't want to give away the spear to, you know, impact my scout. But as you can see, the monk gets in. That ain't happening. Not yet. So I've got this strategy, and honestly, this is maybe an area where if I was going to do this, I probably should have done it faster. You know, because I'm floating a lot of extra stone. Right now, he has 4 town centers to my 2. So he's got some economic boom potential here. But I'm thinking maybe I can break through with a castle. I'll throw a castle down, destroy his wall. He's not really able to wall in behind that, or maybe he isn't able to wall in behind that. And then when I have a bunch of camels, you know, because he's Poles, there's a world in which he just goes all in cavalry. Even knowing that I have camels, some players just like playing to their civ's strengths, ride or die. So he goes all in cav, I blow him up with my camels, and we win that way, right? That's kind of what's in my head. And, you know, right now, with the bird's eye view that we have of the situation, he does have more vills. But look, he's going stables, right? So he's going stables. He doesn't have a castle up. We're not seeing the Polish unique unit coming online. So if his game plan is cav, yeah, I think everything is making a lot of sense right now. So let's speed up a little bit, and here's his response to my castle. And honestly, I should have seen this coming. The Poles, you get extra gold from stone miners. No civilization is as encouraged to be on stone. Like maybe the Koreans, but honestly, even then, I think the Poles probably take the cake for a civilization that wants to be on stone. So of course a castle's going to come up in defense. We have bloodlines, we have husbandry, and we have the Imperial Age coming in, so that part's cool. I've got a few war elephants up. We don't see war elephants enough. I think they're awesome. So I've got a few war elephants up, because why not? I had to use resources while I was going up to him. If I'm going all in cav, I might as well get some powerful elephants behind him. But he had imp first, so he's got his first trebuchet up. And he has the stone. Yeah, I moved my castle building vills away. He has 2 trebs out by the time I get my first. It goes down. This position is not tenable. And at this point, things look... I recognize that my aggressive push is not working. And so many of my games have played out this way, where I'll try for some kind of aggression in the Castle Age, often a castle drop, and it falters. And then I realize that the player on defense has put more resources into the economy than I have. I look down at the score and I see, wow, he's up 1,200 points. Actually, I think I looked down a little later and he ends up being like 2,000 points ahead of me. So even though I don't have this info, I can just tell. I've played enough games to tell, in the back of my mind, he has a better economy than I do. Right? And the resources that I put into that castle just got blown up. I did all of that for one Treb that got destroyed, and I guess a couple of war elephants. And this is where I make a decision that I think is maybe different from the kind of decision I typically make. So I know that I've got really good camels. I know that if he's going to go into Cav, that, you know, I'm really good on that front. You know, his Winged Hussar, his Cavalier versus my heavy camels, I'm really happy about that play. But what I'm worried about is the Obuk, is the Polish unique unit. And I can just tell, if this game goes late, I am going to need my Commanderan empowered archers. I need a response to those infantry units that just shred cavalry. And, you know, the Commanderan is the name of the game. So desperately, I am trying to get the castle up as quickly as I can to immediately research Commanderan. Bam. Come on, where is it? I know I'm gonna, any second now I'm gonna hit that button because I know I need those archers. No, I was gonna say, it was gonna be like, there it is. No, that's just heavy plow and handcart. There we go. No, conscription. Okay, conscription first, and then I pick up the resources. I think I sell some things and buy some things to get Commanderan because I do realize how important it is. So, there it is. There's Commanderan coming in, right behind conscription. And then I'm going to try to mass up archers. A third castle coming down from the poles. He really is, he's Maginot lining this western path into his base. And I'm scared at this point. I mean, I look down at the scoreboard. Yeah, there he is. He's about to hit 7,000. I'm just cresting 5,000. He's basically up 2,000 points ahead of me. So I know that I'm in a little bit of trouble. I know that I'm kind of behind the 8 ball. I know that he, you know, if I know that sort of the early punch. I love throwing the early punch and trying to win the game by just, you know, delivering a devastating blow to my opponent early. That didn't happen. So I know that I'm kind of behind. But I also know that I have the options for the kinds of play that he's likely to make as the poles. And so if I sit back, this is where I realize, at this moment, I realize, you know what I'm bad at? You know what I'm not good at in Age of Empires 2? It's the late game. It's digging in and going for the long-term fight. And if I dig in, if I build up my economy, if I build up my infrastructure, to where I can fight a late game fight, I can win this thing. At least, I have to hope that I can. So I'm down 20 bills right now. I'm also down 11 military. Trying to pick up blacksmith techs ASAP. So my archers, they have Bodkin Arrow. They've got at least the tier 1 armor as well. Thumb Ring coming in. And as you can see, I'm getting up more archery ranges. I'm still on 2 stables, you know? I think a mistake that I tend to make is, you know, opening up. You hit early castle age and you throw down a stable or 2 stables. And then just deciding that the buildings that you have in, you know, early castle are enough. And I sort of recognize I need a lot more if I want to produce armies fast. So I've got up here 6 archery ranges right now. No more because I want to actually put the wood into archers, right? Throwing down another stable. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you know, I need to continue to produce more buildings as well as more units. That's something I've got to work on. So here are the Winged Hussar. They are so cool. I love to see these units. And he wants to fight my Cav. That's what the Obuk are for. An amazing anti-Cav unit. But he's going to have a hard time When those guys only have tier 2 armor, the archers will put in work. And I couple that with my my cav, you know, making a good meat shield. The beautiful thing is even his winged hussar, which no, I don't want a horde of them on my archers, but the Poles do not get the final armor upgrade. Polish cavalry is all about cost efficiency, not, you know, elite cav. So my 40 archers here putting in good work. And I love this composition. Even though I'm behind, I say, okay, I'm down. At this point, it's like, well, it's actually still over 2,000 points right now. So even though I'm down 2,000 points, I feel like I've got something good going on here. As long as I keep producing, that's what I'm telling myself. As long as I keep producing units, I feel like I'm in a good spot because my archers only cost wood. I got 40 guys on wood. So they only cost 1 resource. And then my heavy camels only cost food and gold, right? So these 2 units, they're not competing with each other for a resource, right? This is not your typical archer cav play. They both are gold units, and you kind of have to weigh where you want to spend all of that gold. But not here. Let's see. I just so happened. I had a scout out, you know, just... You never know what kind of intel you might get, and sure enough, he catches a Vil trying to expand the Polish gold economy. That's one of those moments that's very easy to overlook, but it could be a big deal. He goes, what is that red dot? Oh, sheep that I... Yeah, whatever. He didn't find his own sheep. That's not just me. I think he's very aggressive with trying to build out his military production. And, you know, I got to give him kudos. I think something he's doing way better than I am. He has 13 stables to my, you know, 6 archery ranges and 6 stables, right? So even as I'm sort of clapping myself on the back saying, hey, you know, this was... I think I'm doing better than I have in other games at the same time. Honestly, I could do a lot better. I think he's got the right idea here. I have 1,700 wood in the bank. Obviously, a lot of that will go to archers, but I could also be throwing down a lot more production buildings. Interesting how he's building barracks. I wonder if the game plan is to try to mass up pikemen. Yeah, you can see pikes coming out of these barracks. But notice this cavalry just melting to the heavy camels. I don't mind fighting under the castle. And even the archers, you know, are putting in work because the cavalry are not coming at my archers 40 at a time. It tends to be, you know, after the camels are done with them. When they finally get to the archers, they tend to be, you know, 5 or 6. And yeah, I've got... what is it, 29 archers here? They can do some pretty significant work to 4 or 5 archers. In the back, I have massed up 4 trebs to just knock down these barracks before they become too much of a problem. His trebs go down, they were unprotected. His cavalry. They are more cost efficient for the Poles, but even so, they do cost gold. They are expensive units. And I see opportunities to just thin his numbers. So I've got 77 military right now to his 50, and I have taken the Vil lead. Meanwhile, another thing that I have lost games over is focusing so hard on one flank that I lose sight of the other one. And I recognize that at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and build a castle down here to try to pin him in. Now, I miss that he actually is producing structures out here and collecting the gold. But we'll come back to that in a second. Right now, the fight is pressing on. He is continuing. I would say he's continuing to lose units. This is not working for him. The western flank is falling to the Poles. Those castles, they are expensive, and they are melting. By the way, I don't think I put a spotlight on this, but I mentioned how important the relics were. I ended up capturing 3 relics back in my base. We'll jump over here real quick. We can see him. It's an awesome moment. He sees, he gets a couple of Obuk out, but I was able to block them off. And then by the time that, he was able to swing around, I got the castle up. So I get this castle up. I'm going to pop out some war elephants. They're going to come in clutch to knock out these trebs. And he really just does not have a good option. As castle number 2 goes under siege. I've got 190 pop to his 140. I think these bombard cannons moving out, it's a little gutsy. I don't think that's going to go so well. Castle number 2 goes down. The elephants, they're gonna shut down these trebs. My castle will hold. He's in a lot of trouble. And he calls the GG. And I win a game where I was behind. That initial push failed, and I was behind 20-something vills, 2,000-something points, 2,500 points or so. That was a match where, I was definitely worried. But I felt like I predicted correctly the kind of units he would make, the kind of play that he would have. And I was just able to buckle in, get up a bunch of TCs to get that Vil count up and running. Did he quit early? I don't think so. I mean, I think on the one hand, he's got a lot of resources stockpiled, but on the other hand, what are you going to do? What are you going to spend those resources on? I think my composition just has him countered. So I think it was ultimately the right time for him to call it. And the Persians saved my bacon. But guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I just felt like sharing some Age of Empires 2. It's been a while. I plan on putting out some more AoE2 videos. It's been too long. So maybe I'm going to go back to the How to Play series for AoE2. I'm maybe thinking about experimenting with some edited AoE2 replays. Let me know what you want to see in the comments below. And if you don't mind, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. This is the Iron Kaiser signing off. Have a great one out there.